What's up, and welcome to another video, I guess. I wanted to just turn the camera on and talk about some things I was going over with some friends and as well, and I thought it was pretty good to bring up on a video. And it's essentially just how the internet has become so negative, and I'm sure this is it's a given, it's obvious, everyone's seen it, and it's been happening over the past few years, but I feel like the internet has not been like this kind of just toxic space, like how it's become so normalized. I feel like it was not like that several years ago, mainly before the pandemic, like before 2020. I feel like the internet just wasn't like this. Maybe this is some sort of bias or limited view I had, and maybe I just have rose-tinted glasses towards the past, but I feel like when you used to go on to certain subsections of the internet, you did not find all this negativity and people are always constantly arguing with each other, bickering with each other, because we've harbored this culture where you need to be correct and you need to be right no matter what. Or it's just straight up dogging on somebody for liking certain things. Nowadays it's the cool thing, and it's normalized to dogpile people for liking certain things, because you can't like anything on the internet. You can't show any sort of positivity on the internet. You always have to. It's like more the normalized, the socially acceptable thing to just not like anything, to just make fun of absolutely everything, not like anything whatsoever. I feel like certain fandoms of things and certain audiences have become just these toxic individuals. Maybe they aren't like that. Like everyone, I think it's like a given now that people aren't the same way in real life as they are online. And I was actually watching a video on that last night, just like the anonymity effect. I can't even speak. Where when people get online and know they can hide behind an avatar and a username, they'll just say anything. They'll say anything and everything, no matter how horrible. And I don't know. I just feel like that didn't used to be so normalized. I feel like people called that out more for just being needlessly toxic and needlessly negative. It's more of a, for lack of a better word, normalized thing. It's more of common practice now to be so pessimistic to people on the internet. And I just don't understand where that came from and why that's like that. I like to advocate this wherever I can, especially for nowadays. And if you have the ability to just disconnect from the internet, just go, and it's such a I don't know. It's such a cliche thing to say, but just go outside, or occupy your brain with anything else but the internet. Because if there's one thing that the internet is not catered for, it's not for your individual needs. There's gonna be all sorts of and I think this is why people get so angry all the time. You're being exposed. The humans are not supposed to be exposed to this much connection. So you're being exposed with all sorts of dissenting and disagreeing opinions, all sorts of different views on the world and stuff like that. And people they get so angry when they see that. But you have to understand, it's not, people aren't most people, I'd say, aren't this way in real life. You're interacting with, even still when you see the internet, you're interacting with a fraction of the total population of the world. And so not everybody's going to be like that. So it's very easy to become tribalistic, and it's very easy to judge people on the internet and become a part of these crowds, which I feel like I've slightly fallen victim to myself. I have had this thing where I'm not doing it anymore. I've gotten way better about it. But where I would see a comment that was so narrow-minded and so it lacked any common sense, it lacked any nuance. It was there simply probably just for rage bait, which I remember back then when it was called trolling. But I would respond to it because I used to be of the naive mindset that if you respond to someone with logic and with reasoning and with evidence and with facts, that would change that person's mind. But that leaves out one of two things. One, they know what they're saying is wrong and they're doing it on purpose to get a reaction out of people, which is what a lot of people do nowadays. Or two, they don't care. They think they're in the right no matter how much you show them, and nothing will change their mind. They're not there to have their mind changed. They're there to just be right, to just be correct on the matter no matter what, which I think is a very narcissistic view on the world, but that's just how some people are. So if you can, just avoid it. The best thing we can do about people who really are just attention seeking is to just move on, avoid it. Like, it's the age-old thing where if you don't like something, you can easily swipe away. They've been told that many times. They're obviously not going to swipe away because for some reason, some people just love interacting with media that they know is going to get them upset or get them riled up. And they don't care. They don't hit not interested. They don't swipe past it. They don't go actually looking for something that brings them joy and that dopamine that they're looking for, if they're looking for it. For all we know, they could be a masochist and only want negative stuff on their feeds. But that's just the way it is. But I think a specific example of the negativity I've seen is like, there was a clip going around of someone who was kind of upset that, and this is going to sound weird, but Jacksepticeye wasn't going to be playing Deltarune. Which I understand because Deltarune's fandom has a habit of, Undertale's fandom in general has a habit of just like a really cancerous reaction to how people play the game. If they don't play it their certain way, all of a sudden it's the wrong way, and they deserve to be hated for it. But there was a comment under that video, or reel rather, which I kind of wish reels and shorts didn't exist because it's like drain people's attention span. But it was essentially like flaming Jack or Sean rather, for not playing the game, and how since he's like a multi-millionaire that he just shouldn't care about what the audience says and should just turn off the comments and just ignore it. Which, if you've watched Jacksepticeye for a long time, you'll know that is like the complete antithesis to what he is. I know he doesn't need defending, and I don't want to sound like a white knight here, but it's true. If you know him, he's one of the very few content creators anyway, to still interact with the audience. And I think that's something that's been lost on a lot of people, because when you're doing content creation for a while, some people have bastardized what content creation is. But it's very easy to view like the views and the comments as just numbers and not people who are actually there watching your content. And I think that's what that person did, because they don't see the audience as actual human beings. They just see it as numbers. They just see it as this loud wall of noise that could just instantly be shut out. But it shouldn't have to come to that. I remember when a lot more people were able to interact with their audience, but now it's just like memeage and rage bait and saying the same unfunny joke over 60,000 times. But you can still interact with your fan base, so it wouldn't make sense for him to just ignore the comments or turn them off, because one, that's way out of character for him, and two, that would just encourage more of that behavior. Instead of shunning the obviously bad behavior, we're now shunning content creators just because of the amount of money they make, just because they can turn off the... What if they don't want to do that? They shouldn't have to do that. And I feel like people like... And it's the same people that talk about basic human empathy, because this person, after looking at his profile, which I don't normally do, but this is one of those... He's one of those proponents of basic human empathy. But that isn't empathy. To look at someone based off of their value, that's not empathy at all. That's just viewing someone because, oh, he has a lot of money. Who cares what anyone says? He's still a human being at the end of the day. And like I said, human beings are not supposed to, be exposed to that much dissent day in, day out. So after seeing that and seeing how the audience is reacting, if he's someone who's actively interacting with the audience, why would he do that? Why would he shun out the audience? And by the way, he ended up playing the game. There's a fact for you. He played the game in his spare time. He meant he wasn't going to play it on the channel. But people wanted to see it on the channel. But of course, some people just ruin it for others. And I think that a lot of people end up ruining stuff for a lot of people because they're just negative all the time. And it's very easy to feed into that. It's a negative spiral that the more you feed it, the more the fire blows. So if you can, just try to avoid it. I say just try not to reason with these people. Don't argue with them. They're not there to be reasoned with. They're not there to change their mind. They're just there for attention. They're there to rile other people up because they're mad about something that goes on in their own life, which is another instance, or it's another thing that I saw in that video I was watching last night, that some people just leave hate comments, or they leave negative, or they say something absolutely wild because something's going wrong in their life. And I feel like people need to know that more so that they don't fall into that trap that they're setting for you. That some people are just leaving negativity because they're mad that they're miserable and they want other people to be brought down. It's the crab in the bucket mentality. And I encourage you guys not to fall for that trap and not to, stoop down to their level, because at the end of the day, that's what they want. Another thing I've noticed, which this isn't really new, but I feel like it's been more amplified and it's more encouraged, is like every time someone finds like a niche or they're being good at it and they're becoming successful, then all of a sudden it's become a trend to like essentially start a hate train, to like gather an entire audience that's catered around hating you, which I think, and I might sound crazy for this in this type of world now, but I feel like that is like one of the most pathetic things to spend your free time doing, is to like garner an audience specifically hating on someone or making fun of them for trying, because there's not a lot of people that put themselves out there in the spotlight. So it's very easy to fall back into the crowd of the people who's throwing tomatoes and laughing because it's not you in the spotlight. And I feel like we've completely forgotten that these are human beings. Well, besides the dead internet theory, which has become a dead internet reality at this point, because over 50% of traffic is AI bots. Don't respond to those either. But it's very easy for some people to forget that these are still human beings behind the screen with feelings and emotions. There's this guy, which if you know who he is, you know who he is, who has made his whole entire like content hating on specific like music artists, which I know that I'm not the person who makes the the best music, the best of the best, or the best videos, best anything, but I feel like it's still, I feel like it's more admirable to put yourself out there and try than it is to be the guy who makes his whole content hating on someone else. First off, that's a pretty, zesty activity, if I do say so myself. And second off, is that really what you want to be known for? The guy who just makes this obnoxious laugh and hates on other people for actually trying, and have that be your legacy, which people find funny, which I don't want to be a pessimist about or cynical, but people just find shitting on other people hilarious, like the top tier comedy there is, which it's obviously, yeah, it's funny to, poke fun at people sometimes in good jest, in good fun. But when you're just like, every video is about that, and you've grown your whole channel, your whole career just off of that, off of the back of someone else who's actually putting themselves out there and trying, I wouldn't sit right with me personally. I don't know. Some people, the greed is all that they live for. So I don't know if I can reach on a human level, but for me, that wouldn't sit right with me. And then people don't see it as an obvious content farm. They don't see that they're being used, useful idiots, as Lennon would say, but they don't see that they're being used just because the content is centered around someone that they dislike, which once again, it ties back into, you don't have to listen to them. You don't have to watch them. You choose to. No one's forcing you to, you choose to. And then you choose to interact with media that centers around that same person. They don't see though that they're being used in a content farm when there's like 30,000 videos that are based around the same person. They're obsessed with the laugh. Like I said, if you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm just like, how is that content these days? How is that funny? What is this contributing? How is this meaningful in any way? It just seems so backwards to where that being negative and being pessimistic and being a douchebag in general is now celebrated. And I don't know, like I said, maybe I'm naive, way too naive for the internet, but it just feels like way more amped up in the last 6 years than it did in the previous years. And I just don't understand that. I don't understand where it came from. I don't understand why we're encouraging it. I don't understand why we're participating in it, because it just seems so counterintuitive, and it seems so unproductive for society that we're just like championing our own downfall. We're like destroying each other's mental health, and for what? For a couple laughs and a couple clicks and a couple likes. It doesn't make sense to me, and it has never made sense to me. And then every type of content now is just reaction based. We've like entirely destroyed each other's attention spans and comprehension and literacy by just feeding into this like colorful, wow, in your face type of stuff, which sometimes that's the only way. I know I'm guilty a bit of this myself, because like I'm talking about like short form content, how it's just like shorts and reels and stuff like that being paraded around every time, which I guess I'm not, whatever. Anyway, sometimes it's the only way to get ahead. Sometimes that's all that algorithms, they feed off of controversy and they feed off of short form content. The shorter the better. And they feed off of like engagement bait, which is really sad, but that's just the way it is. But it's a shame that we're like participating in it and like feeding into it, knowing fully well what's the problem. I feel like enough people have enough like common sense. I know that common sense is not so common anymore, but I feel like enough people still know that they're being used at the end of the day, and I feel like they just don't care. They're just too lazy to care, or they just, I don't know what it is, but it's just crazy to think about that, for lack of a better words, the internet has become so negative, but we still celebrate that, and we still champion it, and we still encourage it and participate in it, and like harbor that type of behavior instead of shunning it like we used to, which could be naive, and it could be like a, closed-minded way of looking at the world. But I don't believe that's who we are as people, because there's evidence that shows that we were not that type of people not even that long ago. So I don't like accept or believe in this new age of everything must be shock bait, rage bait, reaction bait, any of that. I don't believe in it, and I feel like there's someone out there who could be watching this video that feels the same way I do. Or there could be people out there that just like, you gotta accept a new way and probably get shit for this video as well, which is sad because there's people out there that will find anything and everything to shit on. I feel like there's a growing sense of entitlement now, where people will find like just about anything. And this isn't a new thing, but it's definitely a gradually increasing thing, where people will find anything to shit on you about, and they'll find anything to complain about. They'll find anything to insult you about. Where does it stop? Where does it end? At what point do you become happy? At what point are you satisfied? It's like a never-ending cycle at that point. But that's whatever. That's just the way it is, and I just wanted to get my thoughts out there on this, because I feel like there are some people out there who've noticed it, and the videos I see on it, unfortunately, they don't get as much attention as the videos where they're just negative and they just shit on other people. Yeah, it's controversy sells. I can't even speak. Controversy sells. And that's sad, but that's just the way it is. But I encourage you guys to go and look at those type of videos where it talks about, the pessimistic side of the internet and how it can affect your mental. And I would encourage you guys to spend less screen time, and go distract yourself with a hobby. I feel like hobbies aren't as, popular these days. I encourage you guys to read a book, and I would encourage you guys to go outside, and I'd encourage, if you can, and I would encourage you guys to really pick up anything else to take your mind off of social media, because it can really affect your brain, because it's not wired towards your brain. The human brain needs constant dopamine and validation, and you're just not going to get that on social media. So this is the like type of society that we're going to have, then I would encourage you guys to just reject that premise and go against it if you can. Say something, for example, and you don't have to do this, but try leaving some positive comments. Leave something nice to the next person you see, because you never know, they could, after like a slew of disgusting, negative, cruel, out-of-pocket comments, maybe that one positive comment that they see could really make their day. So I'd encourage you guys, if you're out there watching this, try and be the change, because you can't change the world. That's just impossible. But you can change yourself, and model yourself how you'd want to see people in the world. And that's the way to change. But that's what I'd like to do. So, like, for example, not opening comment sections, at least on other things, because it's, like I said, feeds reward negativity and controversy. So just not looking at that can drastically improve your mental health. And I'm running out of words to say in this video, but it's just wanted to get my thoughts out there. This is not a gaming video, but I just wanted to, really speak what's on my mind, what's been on my mind for the past couple weeks. I never knew how to I've seen this for the past couple years, but for the past couple weeks, I've been really like thinking about it, and I never knew how to articulate it. But I feel like this is the best way that I can really convey what I've been thinking about for the past several weeks and past several months, rather. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. I can't even speak. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like I said, if you have the time or the drive, try and leave something nice for the next person you see, because you never know, they might need it. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace out. Been a while since I recorded a vlog like this. Am I still doing good, or am I washed?